Middays with Harry Mays and Eytan Shander.
Now, it's the Midday Show with Harry Mays and Eytan Shander on 97.3 ESPN Radio.
All right, Harry, it's a Tuesday. The Phillies were rained out. The Philadelphia Eagles have pissed off pretty much everybody on Twitter in a matter of an hour and a half.
Yes, including Mike Gill.
Yeah, I saw Mike is now involved in the He has inserted himself in the conversation.
He's engaging in the outrage.
The fake outrage or real outrage?
No, I think it is real outrage.
Okay.
And I'm kind of surprised that they do this too, man. I mean, it's like, I know it's never going to go back to the old days where you went to a place like Lehigh or Westchester, and way back further than that, I think they were at Hershey. Where you were out in amongst the people and you had just great access to your fan base for a couple of weeks. It's like basically 2.5 weeks of summer camp, and the players hate it, but the fans love it. And it's never going to go back to that. And it's a shame because I enjoyed making a trip up the Northeast Extension to go to Lehigh and hanging out in the bucolic environs of South Bethlehem at the Lehigh football, stadium area. And it was just a beautiful day. And you got close to the players, and it was cool. You heard things that you never hear when you're at an NFL game because you're up close and you're hearing the offensive line coach yelling at his charges and blowing the whistle. And it was just an awesome experience. And now they take that away, because they go to these
stadiums that they're at.
Well, no, they go to their own practice facilities now where everything is, sterile, and they control all the environment. And I get it. I understand that's the way it is. And then they open up open practices at a stadium, and they allow people to come in, and the fans sucked it up. Like the first one, there's like 40-some thousand people there going down to watch guys run around in shorts in practice. How cool is that?
But you also know going into an open practice at the Link that it's not going to be anywhere near as intimate as it was at Lehigh or Hershey.
But at least you got it.
True.
Now you had 2 or 3 of them. I think they might have had 4 the first year. Then it got quickly cut down to 2.
Now it's
whittled down to 1, and it's no longer free.
I know, $10. Now the proceeds go to fight autism, I believe.
Okay, great.
But at the same time, yes, it's almost like, hey, by the way, you can't get upset at us for charging you because
we're giving this to autism.
Right.
Yeah.
But we can compartmentalize, not just as sports talk hosts, but I think as human beings. I think we have the ability to say, hey, just because you're giving them, fill in the blank fast food or soda or whatever it is that's an unhealthy product, just because they're giving tons of their profit shares to charity doesn't make their product any less dangerous for your gut or your stomach or your throat. You know what I'm saying? It's like you could try to balance it out all you want.
Yeah.
My point of it, though, is I agree with you where there is something that's been lost to the fan, and I don't think it's right to come down and criticize or chastise the fan who feels violated or victimized. But what I would like to do is try to explore what's the one thing that you think people are really missing. Because you laid out a couple of things, and they're not necessarily connected.
I like the intimacy of Lehigh.
Okay, I'm glad you brought that up first. Because whether it's on Twitter at Harry Mays to you or live on the stream at Shander Show, 609-403-0973, I feel like, shouldn't that have already been gone? Like, you go to one open practice down at the Link.
Yeah, I know.
You're not getting that
I
anymore.
haven't gone to any of the open practices at the Link because I know what I'm going to get, and I'm not interested in that. I miss the camp thing.
So I wonder how many people today that are outraged about this, and I'm not saying that you're wrong to be outraged by it, but I just wonder how many people today are outraged about something that they haven't had in a couple of years. Mm-hmm. When's the last time we've been at Lehigh?
Oh, man.
Brandon Graham's rookie year, I think. I still remember Brandon Graham sitting there. I love telling the story because I think it just defines who he was and who he remained. But day one at Lehigh, he's waiting to introduce himself to every single member of the media. Hey, I'm Brandon Graham. Hey, I'm shaking his hand with everybody who comes out.
Wow.
It could have been me. It could have been Les Bowen. It could have been Jimmy Kempsky, who's coming on with us at 12:30. Hey, how you doing? I'm Brandon Graham. Smiling.
So that was 2010.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if that was the last year, though, but I remember Brandon Graham was still up in Lehigh. 2010. That's only 9 years ago.
Yeah.
So think about that. How long it's been since the team has been up at Lehigh. And if it's truly the intimacy that you're missing, I would ask you and others, well,
I've been missing it for a while.
Shouldn't you have almost come to grips with it?
Oh, believe me, I'm not outraged by anything. I just realized that I'm an old guy now that wishes some things in life would go back to the way they used to be.
Yeah.
And training camp at Lehigh or Westchester, or you pick the place, is one of those things.
Okay.
For 2.5 weeks in the summer.
That's
when it's sweltering hot, maybe you get a day or two with your guys and you go to that place, wherever it is, and you enjoy yourself.
Right.
Can't do that anymore, really.
Do you think that there are a lot of people, and honestly, a lot of people that look at this and say, okay, I was going to go for free, but now I can't do it for $10. And I guess it kind of factors into that larger conversation, which is we have this a lot with the preseason talk, where, hey, yeah, it's a shame that I have to pay full price for a preseason ticket because that might be the only chance that I can get to see a game.
To go to a game.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you're watching Tim Tebow run the ball in
against
third
stringers.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Right, if he's lucky, third
here's the other thing, too. It's like they could have just let this practice be free and then set up some sort of donation areas all throughout the concourses or out in the the head house, the little area there where you walk in,
head house square?
To donate to whatever charities, in this case autism, and they could have done it that way instead of saying, hey, you got to pay $10 to get in. Hey,
it works for museums. Right? Every time you walk into the
I haven't
public...
been in a museum in a while.
Okay.
When was the last museum you were in? Because now you're trying to sound bougie and educated.
Okay.
That was a very subtle thing to throw in there. Oh, at museums.
Well, to be fair, the last time I was at a museum was more recent than you think.
Oh, I believe you.
It was at the MoMA, the Modern Museum.
Oh, the MoMA.
Right.
The Modern
Museum of Art. And
that's New York City,
correct.
Right?
It was in New York City with a woman that I'm no longer with,
oh,
and I
okay.
think it was just one of those days.
It was a date
where I was just like, hey, I'm not doing anything today. You're not doing anything today. Let's go up to New York, and we just, we did whatever the hell we did. We spent the night.
Okay.
And one of the things we went to
sounds like a nice thing to do.
Yeah, I mean that was probably like the only classy thing we did.
Now you call it the MoMA. You're in.
Well, don't you?
You have such a relationship with the place that you can go MoMA?
Don't you?
Because I'd probably go Modern Museum of Art because I've never been there, and if I walked in there, they'd probably be putting me through an extra security line.
Hold on a second. If I could walk in there with a company that I keep, and I wasn't accosted,
right?
Physically.
Oh, you weren't?
No, I was not. They'll take anybody's money.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's the beauty of a museum, Harry, is they'll take anyone's money. It doesn't matter how dirty that money is.
So then you went in there, you paid money to get in, and then they have other places where you can donate to certain things?
Well, a lot of times what happens is I don't remember the moment I thought was donation, right? Modern Museum of Art.
I don't know.
But I honestly, I can't remember now. It was 2 years ago.
Seems like the day really had an effect on you. You really...
Yeah. I'm trying my best to distance myself from that time period. So I'm thinking to myself, yeah, for the most part, like I remember museums here, anything that's public, they have that one area where you walk in right away. And you remember how you pay like a $5 donation and they give you one of those clip things, those plastic things that you can clip on your shirt.
So
like,
it shows that you donated. Yeah.
Correct. If you want to walk
it's
around.
It's like I voted.
Or I gave blood.
Yes. Right.
Both meaningless.
Right.
Did I say that? 609-403.
Nowadays, you just put out a tweet.
Yeah, exactly right. Hey, just let everybody know that you voted or let everybody know that you gave blood.
Right.
Boy, man, I could spend 2 hours on the racket of giving blood.
Uh-huh.
My goodness. All right, there's a couple of things that happened yesterday. I did want to mention the parade because I was not really impressed with the parade.
Well, I mean, especially when you get gunshots and people are getting injured.
Yeah, there was 4 people got shot.
Oh, okay, for just 4 people. We had 2 million.
All of Canada was there.
We had They only had 1.5 million people there, and we had more than that in Ben Franklin Parkway, and there wasn't a single arrest or an injury.
No. Now, to be fair, there was somebody eating horse crap. So we did have that.
Wasn't that at a game?
No. Oh, maybe that
was at a game.
No, it wasn't at the game. It was either the parade or it was the night in which they won the Super Bowl. It's one of the two.
Well, maybe, but it wasn't. I don't think it was parade day.
Oh, well, it's one of the two. Okay, I'm not going to absolve everybody in his fan base.
Hey, I think I'm coming up on the episode of Deadwood where they eat horse crap too.
Yeah,
I just watched another one this morning.
Now, we're going to get to that Wednesday.
Yeah.
And you're not at that point. You're through episode 3.
Correct.
So
Season 2.
I don't think you're at the point where your patience will be tested.
Okay.
Not yet, but that's coming in the next episode or 2.
All right.
All right, so the parade yesterday did yield a crazy moment, right? There were some cool moments, I'll say, where the crowd was saying 1 more year to Kawhi, and then Kyle Lowry steps in and says 5 more years. And then all of a sudden you hear the crowd like 5 more years, 5 more, looking around like, oh, wait, we can actually keep him.
It would have been great if you would not 1, not 2, not 3.
Can you imagine?
That would have been a total troll of LeBron.
Wait a second.
Which would have been, it was a great opportunity, and Kyle Lowry blew it.
I think Kawhi could take even further advantage of that. What happens if Kawhi Leonard comes out on an Instagram video or some digital platform, and they're like, all right, Kawhi, what's your future like? What's going on? Or he's like, all right, you want to know where the board man's going? You want to know where the board man's getting paid, right? Because he had the board man gets paid T-shirt on there. I love how he's embraced. He's so self-deprecating.
It's great.
I love how he's embraced all of this. And we'll get to this biggest self-deprecating moment that was ruined, mind you, by a public official. Ruined.
Afterwards?
Yes.
Just afterwards?
Yes.
Yeah, I know.
You know what I'm talking about.
Well,
right?
yeah, it was almost like if Chris Wheeler had talked over Harry Kalas or just blurted in too soon after the Phillies of world champions of baseball thing. You know what I mean?
Yes.
But Wheeler, the consummate professional,
He waited.
did not allow that to happen.
No, he waited.
Right.
Absolutely.
This guy.
Maybe
Who
he had a
is this guy,
self-preservation.
anyway?
I think he's the mayor.
Oh, he is?
From what I found out, he was the mayor. From what I deduced.
Fred Hoiberg was there?
Yes, Fred Hoiberg was actually giving out the key to the city to Toronto. So imagine if Kawhi Leonard came out on a video and said, hey, I'm sticking in Toronto. And everybody assumes it's the 1-1. Like he signs with the 1-year deal with the 1-year opt-out. And he's like, not 1, not 2, not 3. And then goes 5
and
years.
then does the laugh again.
Ha ha. Oh, my goodness. All right, speaking of which, this was the biggest, best moment. It had nothing to do with Drake and the constant. I can't imagine that St. Louis, if the Cardinals win it, Blues probably not as much with that demo, but I can't imagine if the Cardinals win it, that Nelly and the St. Lunatics are going to be hanging out on the parade. Or if the Rams had won it back when they were there, that they would have
They did.
What?
They did win it.
That's what I'm saying, though. And I can't imagine, I don't remember, that's a good point, I don't remember seeing Nelly and the St. Lunatics riding the parade.
Was that Nelly's time? Back then?
Yeah.
It was?
Yeah.
Okay, so we were in peak Nelly?
Well, we weren't peak Nelly, but here's the reality of it. I hate to admit it, but if you look at sales and if you look at numbers by Nelly, he never really fell off.
It's Getting Hot in Here?
Yeah.
It was like a big song back then?
That was peak Nelly. That was intro Nelly. But then, he kind of hovered around a little bit, and I got to give the guy credit. It's really easy to fall off the face of the earth in that genre of music. Here's a little Nelly here. Josh is in tune with the show, as usual. I can't imagine that.
At least somebody's listening.
Yeah, exactly right. We didn't have Meek Mill on the bus. They did not have Meek. Well, technically, I think Meek was still in prison.
He's a member of the St. Lunatics, Nelly.
Well, yeah, he's the founding member.
He's the founding member of that.
Created that.
Okay, all right, good.
I love how you are so on with everything that we're doing. I could go so deep into a third base rabbit hole, and you would have 2 pages of third base, MC search, their music, the fallout. You'd bring up something that I wouldn't even know because you pull it off of a website.
Exactly.
I got to give you credit for that, man.
It's the power of the internet.
All right, let's listen to this Kawhi Leonard self-deprecating moment. He stole the show, really, at the end of the parade. All the different moments throughout it. He was wearing the board man gets paid tee, but this is him at the end.
Thank you. And like they said, enjoy this moment, and have fun with it. Ha, 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 ha.
Yeah! All right. That's it.
Yeah, that dude, whoever that guy is, ruined it.
That's the mayor.
Yeah.
Now, can you imagine first off, being in the crowd, voting for that man, and sitting there looking to the... Like human beings don't make that noise. It sounds like a pig being slaughtered.
I'd rather listen to Brett Hull try to sing Gloria.
Every single day of the week.
Yeah. See, the mayor of Toronto should be a hockey player.
I agree.
You know what I mean?
A former hockey player.
Right.
Seriously. Exactly right.
Gloria!
Seriously. I mean, look at those moments. You had one of the best Kawhi Leonard moments. I would argue outside the laugh itself, that was probably right there up to it.
No, this is better because he's making fun of himself.
That's very fair.
Like the laugh at the media day or whatever that was.
Like, I can't even look where you're sitting at.
Yeah, he was just sort of, I don't even know if he knew he was emoting that at the time. And then only afterwards he was like, oh, my God, what have I done? I've become a meme. You know,
I don't even know where he's sitting at.
So that opens it up.
That opens it up, and now he realizes it. He realizes he doesn't show a whole lot of personality. And on the day of the parade, in front of 1.5 million people, plus people watching on television, he makes fun of himself for what was a kind of an embarrassing moment for him. I love that.
It's a great, man. It's a great moment. You're right. I actually, now that you lay it out that way, I agree with you.
Yeah.
I think it is better to be able to have a self-deprecating moment like that. And, he didn't laugh like he laughed at Media Day, because I think then it would have come off like he actually is trying.
Right.
He recognized what it is. And I'll tell you, outside of that jackass making that noise, which really ruined the whole thing for me, the reaction... It's just awful. Who makes that noise? What is a human being doing making that noise?
Now, normally, like the team, don't they have sort of their home broadcaster or something, sort of host the thing? You know what I mean? Like a lot of times,
they did.
It's a broadcaster. It's not the mayor.
No,
like a real broadcaster wouldn't have done that.
Absolutely not. And I think the mayor, he was just there because he was giving the key to the city to Kawhi.
Oh, of course.
The announcer that you referenced actually did get on the mic and was doing a lot, especially when the gunshots rang out.
Because I didn't watch it.
No, he was the guy that was responsible for kind of bringing everybody and calming everybody back once the shots rang out.
Okay.
But that moment by Kawhi Leonard was awesome. Mm-hmm. And his teammates, did you see his teammates reacting to it like he just threw down on Giannis?
Oh, yeah. Was it Danny Green who just went crazy?
Yeah, he lost it.
Yeah, he lost it.
It was hilarious.
Yeah.